welcome back to the Nosebleed Seats. This week we present the conclusion of our interviews with several of the players that made Peoria Wrestling what it is today.
I think they're doing a great job now with former GAW and now Sky Pro. There's a lot of things in the works, a lot of people talking about doing a lot of different things. People coming back that we hadn't seen for quite some time. We're going to see a bunch of them today. Homos Pedro's going to be here today. Cody Cash is going to be here today. Dennis Devine is back today. All these people. Ray, come in here, Ray. Come on.
He's the new guy.
This is the son of Buzz Rogers, who I beat.
You've never beat Buzz. Buzz just never loses.
I beat him.
Do you have a match with Buzz?
I beat him.
Dude, he never loses. He just doesn't win.
I had the black eye to prove it just before the day before my grandson was born. He landed on my head.
I remember.
Yeah, now you're right. I beat it. So, Ray was a little kid. He's grown up over here, and now he's wrestling with us. And what does that tell you right there? We got a second generation wrestler. That says it all.
I don't see it going past anywhere except Bellevue. But you never know what could happen. I mean, we're back here in Forest City after 10 years. So you never know what could happen.
Hopefully up. I know that a lot of people that I started with are doing bigger and better things. You know, Bracket Kia and CJ Esparza and Ryan Phoenix. And I know that, Stumpy has been doing big things. So hopefully just the best for everybody. They can get where they want to go.
I don't know. It's up to the guys doing it. It really is. There's a lot of guys there that think that it's just going to be a pick up and go kind of thing. It's a lot different in a business than a lot of these guys that are coming back. And they can be as good as they want to think they are. But when it comes down to it, it's about selling a ticket. Because if the fans are enjoying it, which is the point of this, you hear me out there, Internet? If the fans are enjoying this, they will pay for it. They want to pay for it. They want to come back. They want to pay for it again and again and again. That's something we all have to learn. I'm definitely not perfect at it. I'm not good at it. I'll tell you straight up. I'm not good at it at all. But it's something I have to figure out. Something I have to learn. It's my cross to bear. And if you're running a show in Peoria, that's your cross to bear too. Figure out how to sell those tickets because that means people are enjoying what you're doing, and that's what you want. It's about the fans. Remember. But for the most part, it's up to them. It's completely up to them how much work and how much of the right work they want to put into it. Because I know guys that buy, they have more, tights than they have pairs of jeans, but when it comes down to it, they haven't entertained a single person or sold a single ticket.
You've been out for a while.
I've been out of it for a while. This is actually the first show I've been to in almost 2 years.
My condolences.
Yeah, the last show that I went to was New Midwest, November Rain 2 years ago, because they had the Battle Royal of, Legends of the Past.
Right.
That was the last show that I've been to. That was the last show I've been to, and I've got nothing bad to say about New Midwest. There's a lot of talent there. I was honored to be asked to be part of that show, and up until then, today was the first show I've been to, and nothing will ever compare to New Midwest. No matter how we parted ways, they are the best talent there is. Not, in Central Illinois. They're number one in my heart, and they're number one in talent-wise.
I honestly, I don't know. I don't have a lot of contact with a lot of those guys. I hope something gets going here in the future. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
The GAW's up there. They now have new owners. IWA Mid-South is starting up again. And EAW's there. Do you see yourself working for any of them?
It's a possibility. If they were to contact me and it's the right situation, yeah. I mean, I've worked for pretty much anybody, unfortunately.
It's very questionable. I know. I've heard that IWA Mid-South is coming back in that area.
Yes, that is correct.
And I have heard that, and I wish them luck from a business standpoint. I personally am not a big IWA Mid-South fan. I have nothing against them personally. It's just not generally my style thing. But I wish them luck on a professional standpoint. There's a motorcycle driving through them. But anyways, I know EAW is going to run shows. Avani's Dome now, I guess it's called. And I wish them luck too. I wasn't there for the original EAW thing.
Neither was I.
I don't, but I wish everyone.
Yeah, there's motorcycles going by. It's the Route 66 hotel. I mean,
Right,
there's
you gotta
there's
expect-
cars, there's motorcycles, there's
Anyway.
classic everything here.
Anyway, so I hope everyone from a business standpoint, a lot of success. I'd love to see success as long as it's good stuff. And I know that sometimes I'm associated with things that aren't good stuff. And you know, that's my decision. But I wish them success. I hope they put on good shows. I hope they can help bring it back to, you know, where this place used to be. I hope they can get that fan interaction back, where the fans just absolutely loved and cared about people. I don't know. I mean, you got some good guys. You got Cherry Malone, who's running around still. It was awesome to see this girl back. I miss this girl in wrestling. She's an awesome, awesome girl. She's good stuff. You know what? I listened to your little thing earlier. We can come in on this. Okay. I listened to this little thing earlier, and in all honesty, it's true. She definitely paved the way, and no one gave her anything. I want to say that abundantly clear. No one ever gave you anything. You earned everything on your own. No, let me finish. We've known each other for a little while.
A long while, but yes.
We've done some good business, bad news, and all that stuff. I firmly believe everything you've ever done in this business, you did on you earned. No one ever gave you anything. And no one ever made you yourself.
No,
I want to make that public though.
I was trained by some very, very good wrestlers, and I got, you know, I had the joy of being able to do that. There was other companies, you know, they gave me some championship belts that I felt that I had earned too. It's just unfortunate you go to other companies, and I'm not going to say names because Newman West and GW is not either of them because they both did a lot for me. There's other companies that gave me a lot of disrespect, and that's a lot of the reason why I hung up my boots. I'm not going to name names because that's not my style. I'm not going to sling mud. I'm not going to
Message to those other companies: never ever cross a wild cherry.
Also, I just want to point out, I am still heated that you got to see Tracy Brooks' boobs and I didn't.
Not only did I see them, my face was in between them.
I'm
Sleep on
heartbroken
that.
about that. Anyways, I'm sorry. Anyways, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, I mean, I'm glad to see we have wrestling back in the Peoria area, which what I'm talking about is GAW. We got a lot of the old familiar faces back, and hopefully we're gonna bring some new faces in. You know, some fresh blood. Me myself, you know, as being in-ring talent instead of setup production talent. I'm kind of happy. I had a lot of fun with IWA. I know a lot of people have been beating up on Ian a lot the last 6 months. My personal opinion about it, Ian always treated me like family. He treated my son like family. My fiance, I mean, he only treated us with respect. And that's the only thing I can talk about because I wasn't involved with all the other outside stuff that was going on. I was more there to go do my job that was asked and go home.
One of those things kind of where beginning of the year GAW really wasn't going anywhere. They had no plans on venues, no plans on upcoming shows or anything like that. And I contacted JC Michaels and asked him, I said, you know, till things got me going, you mind if I run things up here in Bellevue? And after a few shows, him and I sat and talked again, and we just sat down and pretty much proverbially put pen to paper, and I bought out GAW Wrestling and brought it up here to Bellevue, Illinois.
There's been talk that GAW is going to be renamed officially to Scott Pro Wrestling. Is that the case?
No decision's been made on that yet. GAW, I mean, despite its kind of lackluster reputation, it's still a very established kind of name in the area. And it's a reputation we're working on building up and trying to garner the respect that, you know, all these guys deserve to have. It's more or less one of those things. These guys are busting their asses, putting on great shows and drawing, you know, really good crowds, really hot crowds up in that area. And I kind of want to make sure everything's set in stone, and you know, before I worry about anything like that.
Now, the last promotion to run in that venue, and I keep bringing it up because matches that GAW has held in that building has, I guess the ghosts of IWA Mid-South's past has haunted that venue because Ryan Phoenix is very, very aggressive in that building. Some of the other wrestlers that are wrestling at Bellevue Plaza they seem to have a mindset that it's still IWA Mid-South in that building, even though the call letters say JW. What do you attribute to that?
Everyone from Ryan Phoenix to me and Joey and the hooligans beating each other up, and pretty much all around. I think it's that need for competition. That I think the locker room has such a high level of respect that they want to push everybody to just keep going higher on to that next level. And I think that's where it all stems from.
But are you transitioning to more of a family-friendly atmosphere, or is there always going to be the...
I always want a family-friendly atmosphere for the shows. We do this for the fans. I always want families. Kids of all ages. I always say kids of all ages come to the shows, and I always want kids of all ages to come to the shows and whatnot. I always want to put on a show that is appropriate for all of them. And sometimes it gets a little more non-family friendly, and you're gonna have that.
Where do you see GAW going by about the middle of next year?
I just see GAW keep expanding. Drawing in bigger crowds. Everybody get biker rally.
Bikers are welcome downtown. So there's a lot of them around this weekend.
But I see a lot of good things for us. I want to keep expanding. Bringing in more talent to showcase that people from Peoria don't necessarily get to see on a regular basis, and just continuing to expand and learn. It's all a learning experience for all of us.
Do you think you'll run Decatur where GAW started?
I've had people approach me with that idea, and I've had people approach me about running in Lincoln. I really have no plans of doing any of that right now, but future comes, if it comes up, and it's if there's a reason for me to do it, and it's a good business strategy or a good business plan, then I would consider it.
Boy, locker room. I don't miss 7 people and get my ass whipped all night. I don't miss not getting paid. And I did get paid. Not when I first started, but I did end up getting paid. But I don't miss those days. I definitely don't miss IWA running the belt. That was not Peoria Wrestling by far. That was Death Match Wrestling. There was good guys that worked. Don't get me wrong. I love Drake Younger. I love all the guys that worked for him, but the actual Fed as a whole didn't understand the town they were running. You know what I mean? Keep, the South wrestling Southern style. New York wrestling New York style. Florida wrestling, know where you're at. Play to the demographic. You're a salesperson. There's 12 people in your crowd. Don't do that again.
Where do you see Peoria Wrestling going? It looks like there's GAW, although it looks like they're taking a break.
Yeah. And
IWA
take a break. EAW starts wrestling. Wonder what happened.
Elite Alliance Wrestling starts up.
Elite Alliance, is that what it's called?
It's now going to be called that.
Very nice. Dan the Man will be so happy.
But it also looks like IWA Mid-South is making a comeback with new ownership.
And what are they bringing back?
King of the Deathmatch Tournament as their big comeback.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. I hope the best for everybody. Good business for you is good business for me. You know what I mean? I'm not a promoter. I'm a wrestler. So anywhere I can get, what this place is missing is Dreamway. There needs to be a Dreamway every 300 miles. And that's all there needs to be. If you can't draw that many people, don't do it. I mean, love this building to death. Love Napier High School to death. Yeah, I love the American Center. I miss wrestling there. It was more living. It was more, the crowd was way more hype. Here, it's not as intimate as a setting. I know, no homo, that sounds gay as hell, but it's just...
It's hot.
And it's hot. I mean, there's so many problems with it, but I still come out and do what I do.
And there's quite a bit that I miss being in front of the crowd. Whether I was a good guy or a bad guy, I really miss being in front of the crowd. I loved getting a reaction from them. I loved it when they cheered for me, and I loved it when they booed for me. I miss being on the stage, if you will. That's what I miss the most.
The variety. I'm just seeing, when I go to different places, I see a lot of the same people that we've seen before. There are a lot of new faces out there. I've been in the business since 2002. I've seen a lot of the same faces and some of the new faces, but there's never a place that I go to and there's a whole new lineup of anybody. So it's familiarity.
I miss the shows, every 2 weeks. I mean, nothing beat that. And we had fans that came to all of them. And just the group of guys back then, I mean, there's groups of guys now, but it's always different, you know, to get different guys together.
I don't know. I miss, like, you know, now I have a different role in wrestling than I did back then when I did work there. But, you know, it's definitely the locker room, definitely the guys, definitely, you know, some of the jokes we played on each other. I remember a time where Griff and I took an entire, I want to say it had been 3 by 4 foot concrete slab and put it in Deacon Hobbs's driver's seat, even buckled it in. And he drove off in it, which was the funniest thing that had ever happened to me at that time, because that thing was heavy and he wasn't picking that up by himself. But he, the look at it, you know, when you practical joke somebody and they just stare at the joke for a second, trying to draw it all in. The funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life when Deacon Hobbs did that. Absolute funniest.
The fans' closeness. One thing I always spoke well about NGW is the fans were connected to the wrestlers. The fans actually had personal relationships with the wrestlers. They felt it. When Napier had decided to join Josh Powers, we had fans crying. When Phoenix dropped the belt to Prince Ali, we had fans angry, throwing chairs, upset. There was this closeness. You don't see that anymore. And they really felt like it was like these were people that they knew on a personal level, and I miss that. I really, really do miss that. I wish I could find places like that. The fans were just so into it. They wanted to be there every week. They wanted to be there every show. They wanted to know what happened, and you don't see that, especially in this area anymore. And I miss that.
Well, just, you know, the camaraderie with the boys. You know, it's just, you know, it's a fun atmosphere. You know, I enjoy, by and large, all my experiences with wrestling here in Peoria have been, on the whole, positive. It's always been fun. Okay, because it's not a big payday for me, and it never was. It was never about that. I did it because I enjoyed wrestling. I love watching wrestling. I grew up watching George the Animal Steel eat turnbuckles. And I just thought that was just the awesomest thing in the world. I'm sitting here 8 years old watching TV, and I'm like, that guy is doing things that I wish I could get away with. And he's getting paid for it. That's awesome.
And you did, like, every week commentary, basically, because NGW back then was running a weekly show at that Peoria Athletic Club, that little building that you had to fit fans in there like sardines, basically.
Yes, it was made for a very intimate setting, and sometimes, you know, I'm sure on those supercard events we more than broke the fire code, I'm sure, on a few occasions. You know, it was that sort of intimacy and up close and personal with the fans that forces me to be on top of my game, because if I'm not, they let me know about it real quick. And again, and it's like with your question about with the referees, does that bother you, that sort of thing? You know, they're right there, and I just said something that was completely stupid and not at all what I intended to come out of my mouth, and they're letting me know it. I gotta shrug it off and keep working. You know, so that sort of intimacy, that really forced me to be quick, off the cuff, and, you know, and try to bring a little bit of professionalism to the table with what I was doing.
I don't know. It was kind of hard in the beginning. Like when I first started training, you know, they've had so many women that had, you know, tried to train, and to be blunt, tried to sprint around with half the roster and then never became a wrestler. They'd heard it so many times before, so here's another female saying, well, I'm gonna be your first female wrestler. Well, they were all surprised to see that I actually had the passion, I had the drive, and I did become their first female wrestler. I wasn't there for the guys, which unfortunately a lot of female in this industry are. So I was there to wrestle. I wanted to become their first female wrestler. I trained my ass off. I trained really hard. I earned a lot of respect from a lot of people for, you know, not giving up, and I did become their first female wrestler. And I became their first female wrestler to wrestle a man.
You also valeted.
I did valet.
There was the Guy Smith curse, where every valet that ever went by Guy Smith's side disappeared a month later. You broke that curse.
I did not believe in that curse. Guy Smith is an excellent wrestler, and one of my favorite memories in wrestling is actually working with him and being his valet. And then when I started wrestling, him being my manager when I wrestled. Working with Guy Smith was one of my greatest runs. I had a lot of fun, and there's nothing but good memories there. So I was glad to break that curse. So
I think if you stayed with it longer than the point where you walked away, do you think you could have made it to Shimmer?
I think there's so many things that contributed to me retiring from wrestling and hanging up my boots. If they got rid of the discrimination that there is towards a lot of women wrestlers, I think I probably would have stayed a little bit longer, but it just got to a point where it wasn't fun for me anymore. There's so much disrespect, and being in a male-dominated business, I expected quite a bit of disrespect, but it got to a point where, hey, I've been wrestling for 6 years. I can out-wrestle half you guys, and they're treating me like, I just started. Like, it just got to be where it's no fun, and once it got to be no fun anymore, that's when I decided to hang up my boots.
There.
I was in the gym, I was doing some laterals, and I went up for the movement, and when I come down, I felt something, pull. I tried to go back up, and it didn't go up. And I thought I'd pull a muscle, so I was like, okay. Rest a little bit, stretch it out, try again. And I went to go back to do the same exercise, and it wasn't happening. So I knew that I'd pulled a muscle. There's no doubt. So I took 2 weeks off, rested, ice, ibuprofen. What you're supposed to do with a pulled muscle. And then I never got any better. Actually, I got worse. So then I went to a doctor, and the doctor diagnosed me after 2 or 3 different visits that I got a ruptured disc in my knee. Should I be out here doing this? No. But I have to. A lot of people kind of drop the ball, and I had to pick it up. And that's what it's about. These people want to see a good show, and I want to make sure that that's what they get, even at the risk of my life, my life, but my health. That's the way it has to be. I was taunted.
You were taunted?
I was taunted.
How was that?
By a certain promoter in Springfield, claiming that
the enigma,
claiming this couldn't be done, it wasn't going to happen. And it's happening.
And he's not here today, and another void.
He was asked why he wasn't going to be here, and his remarks, I believe his response was, "I'm going to work for a much bigger crowd for a paycheck." So this to me, I gave this show to the people. It's free, 100% free. The guys that came in because they wanted to work. I tried to book as many guys as I could. It's what it is. It's a reunion show. It's for the guys to get together and have a good time. It was never about the money. Wrestling for me has never been about the money, and I said that at my inductment of the Hall of Fame. It's never, ever been about the money.
Right.
It's been about the business, and it's been about the heart, and it's been about the guys. So, for you to say something like that, it's just, your mind is somewhere else in this business as opposed to mine, and that's why we don't get along.
I thought the reunion show was a great idea. I think it worked well. I, of course, being, a promoter in my own right, I had qualms with it. I didn't have qualms with it happening. I wanted it to happen. There's many misconceptions. There's probably going to be interviews on this thing where people said I didn't want it to happen. That's not true. I've never said that, and nobody can find that for me. If you find that where I said I didn't want it to happen, go nuts, show it to me. I will let you pee on me. Okay, I never said I didn't want it to happen, but the bottom line is it needed to happen in the right way because I wanted the best for whoever was involved. I have my own views on what wrestling is and what wrestling should be. I had to learn those views. Everybody thinks that I'm a know-it-all from just knowing it all. No, these are all lessons I've had to learn myself, and lessons I'm still learning. It was, I didn't want it to be a self-serving act. Guys that were just, if you want to wrestle, the ring set up somewhere in Pekin, go wrestle in it. But if you want to sell it to fans, you want fans to come back to shows eventually in that area, you have to be able to sell that ticket. You have to give them something to come back to, and a bunch of, if you're just doing it just cause, then you got to move aside for the guys that really want to do it. Because there were guys that wanted to work hard, and there were guys that were spending time in a ring. You know what I mean? Guys that wrestled more than that one show. And Apocolypse may say that he doesn't get along with me, but I get along with him just fine. I love the guy. I'm appreciative of him being there when I started. But, as I said before, it was more of a ground than a foundation, because a lot of those guys were at the same level we were. We were sharing the same locker room, learning the same things at the same time. We truly were. I loved the idea of the reunion show, because there was a lot of the guys that I love. I miss, I don't see enough of in that stuff, and I wish I could have been there. But, I've been, Dreamwave has been fantastic to me, and I wasn't going to, skip out on them for that. And it wasn't about a paycheck, and it wasn't about, just doing it in front of more fans, which, kind of was, because it was LaSalle fans. Whether you like me or not, LaSalle, you're stuck with me. Dreamwave's been awesome, good to me, and it's the only show I work. I barely work mine. And it's only because I have to, and sometimes because LPC isn't there to do my work for me. And it's good for me to be able to be one of the boys. And I already had that day scheduled with them, and this, that, and the other. I'd love to be at another show if it doesn't, run against any other shows I'm doing on my own. But I have a professional obligation to the shows I do work.
Any words you want to pass along to Apocolypse?
No, I mean...
additional.
Apocolypse, you may want to hit me at times, but I realize that I just want the best for everybody. I want them all to do it. I want 110% at all times. People have hated me and moved on from even listening to me for me wanting that. But, I expect the best from everybody. And, I don't think this business deserves anything less than the best. I think they need everything. The fans, the people who want to buy tickets, the wrestling fans need the absolute best. And I may not have the best way of speaking my mind, but that's truly what I believe. And I may come off as crass, I may come off as egotistical, but like I said, these are all lessons I've had to learn myself. I've learned the hard way so many times, and I'd like to be able to tell people to keep them from learning the hard way.
I want to thank you for speaking today. Congratulations on getting this organized. There was a lot of road bumps and cancellations, but you've gotten a fair cross-section of the players of Peoria Wrestling over the years, and I'm going to be here tonight. Even though there's Dreamwave going up the road, but with some of the players that Peoria generated are up there tonight. Some of them made the PWI 500 even, but I'm here because this is where it all started.
And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you doing this. It's a good thing. This is a reunion show, and I think we're getting exactly what we wanted to get out of it. And I think the second show is going to be even bigger and better than the first show. I have no doubts.
The sun doesn't burn us up.
And the sun will be going down by then. 5 o'clock, the sun's going down. It's going to get cooler. So I think it's going to work. And I appreciate you coming out. And to all the guys that missed it, that's your loss. Because we're having fun, and that's what it's about.
You'll see it on TV in a few weeks, I guess.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.